Professor Dugas. This is Michelle Anderson reporting in to talk about the Netflix webcast. I wanted to tell you that I thought that was a really interesting webcast, and I've just got my notes here to talk a little bit about it. I thought he was a complete visionary, or he is actually a complete visionary. I think that's pretty evident even from early on when he just tried a bunch of things. He went from the Marine Corps and then into the Peace Corps, and then traveled through Africa with like $10 in his pocket. Well, I think that just shows you right there. It's a real risk taker. Even at an early age, most people, young people, my children would not do that. And from there he went on to school at Stanford and saw the fact that around that era, the tech was rising rapidly in the mid 90s, right, the dot-com era, and thought like debugging software would be a viable business source, and he was spot on. I mean, right, everything like ramped up. He created that Pure Software company, and it went from very small number of people to very large, and then they sold it it merged with Attica, where he was originally from. He worked at Attica first, and then he decided he could do his own. Eventually they merged back together, and he grew tired of it because, quite frankly, there was a little bit of problems with the integration, and then he lost the visionary component. Said he was just managing people, and he said it got too bureaucratic. So, which proved that he knows himself. He knows what he wants. He knows what he likes to do, and what he likes to do is just figuring problems out. So I thought that was very interesting. It shows a lot about yourself if you can just say, "Hey, I know I don't like my job necessarily. I'm going to just shuck it and take a chance and start something else." I think that's really interesting, and it shows your risk tolerance level. He has an extremely high risk tolerance level by starting a company altogether. In 1997, he started with Netflix, and it started because he got a late fee from from Blockbuster or something like that, and so it's like, hey, I think I can do this better. And again, put a different model in place. Said, hey, I think everybody would kind of appreciate a gym model, like a monthly fee model, and so he came up with that month, build a better experience, I think he said, for your consumer. And with that, he developed some very interesting, unique features of that. One being the queue, where you could throw movies that you wanted in the queue, and the other one is recommendations. So he had other people recommending the different movies to each other, and it worked out really well. And for a long time, Netflix was like really not doing very well financially. Blockbuster was the big kid on the block. They kind of looked at them like they're the very minor little sister, twice generations removed. Like there's no way they could touch us. So Blockbuster didn't really pay attention to them, and they really didn't have to, because the VCR sales were to buy a VCR, which they banked on, because it was all like the discs, like these, like these. They didn't have to worry about it because the cost of a DVR was a VCR rather, was so high. But now then that dropped. In, I think it was 2001, that dropped significantly. So now all of a sudden you have access. You have a bigger pool, and he started making all these deals with companies, and that really got his foot in the door. In the meantime, he went very lean. Because they several times it came close to being to the point where it was bankrupt, because all these, then you got bigger players jumping into the pool. Once the DVR, or the VCR rather, what I'm talking about, that it dropped, other players wanted to jump back in. Like Blockbuster decided, hey, I think I want a piece of this. And I think Walmart said, I want a piece of this too. And so then they became a price war. Let's monthly price war, and so Netflix had to shave it down to like $14.99 to compete with these guys, because they were trying to push them out of the pot. So what else can I say here? What I'm saying is that he was always looking. he always knew that it actually wasn't in these discs that he was interested in. He was actually after streaming. So when he even developed the company in 97, he was really kind of sad. Hey, I think this is going to go away. Instead, it's about content, it's about streaming, it's about the here and now, and about appeasing people's customer needs immediately, not a day, like going back and forth with the discs. So that's when things started to really take off for him. The streaming was the answer, and he started making deals with Stars, which brought in Disney Pictures and Paramount, and then he did something like very interesting, which kind of made deals with I forget which company it is, but he brought one of the original programming, House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, to Netflix. Okay, revolutionary. Then all of a sudden in 2011, you've got big players trying to break in, like Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook. These guys are scary because they're huge. But what he's done is been able to really be ahead of the curve and know what he thought was the next step. And I thought that was, again, just a visionary. He had a huge risk tolerance as well, and that really helped him see where he wanted to go and have and just go for it. I can completely appreciate the idea of not paying that $40 late fee and how the whole thing started. I mean, I'm holding a Netflix disc right now because I didn't return my Netflix CD from a long time ago, 2002, and he was always after that better experience, because I'm sure I called and said, hey, I don't know why I'm being charged for this. I'm sure I returned it, and it looks like I never did. So I'm sorry, Reed Hastings, I still have your disc, but I know they were nice enough to say it's okay. So as opposed to saying, no, you must pay it. I know they let me go. So anyway, there you are. I hope this suffices as my completion of this project, and I appreciate the class and what I'm learning from it. Thank you.